We're back. This is WPFW Radio. I am Gloria Minott. Dianne Andrews. Our program is called In Black and White. It's a talk show. And this morning we're talking about the events in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where Alton Sterling was killed by police. Dianne, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Gloria. Thanks for having me on here. I appreciate being able to give out some of the things I've seen here in Baton Rouge over the last 2 years doing my television show.
What have you been seeing?
I do a series, Black, White, and Blue Lives Matter. I've had the Chief of Police, Chief Davity, on my show twice, our District Attorney, Hiller Moore, and the Mayor, to name some of the people who are involved in making decisions on what's going on in Baton Rouge today.
Well, let's start with Alton Sterling. What is the latest on his
Yesterday,
case?
I went and interviewed the owner of Triple S, which is at the site of where Alton Sterling was shot and killed by two white police officers in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Mr. Abdullah Mufi is a Sunni Muslim who has been in the black community. It is what, in typical terms, is called the hood. He's been there for 6 years as owning this store, surrounded only around black people. He is open 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. He's never had any problems. Alton Sterling sold CDs and DVDs in front of his store for 6 years. He did carry a gun, Abdullah told me, and he knew that he carried a gun only because people had tried to rob him before, Mr. Sterling.
Mm-hmm.
He's never had any problem with him. He was a great guy. In fact, he's never had any problems in this area. He is a Muslim. I do shows on ISIS also. I have a series on ISIS that I do, and all my shows, you go to YouTube under my channel, Dianne Andrews in Black and White. And I'm the largest show in the state, issue show in the state of Louisiana. I come on in New Orleans, Lafayette, Baton Rouge, Shreveport, and Alexandria. But he said that day he didn't see any problems. It is said that someone called the police. First they said it was a homeless man who tried to beg Mr. Sterling for money. Then they said it was a woman who called and said that they had seen him with a gun. He did again carry a gun, and this was known by the store owner, but it was peaceful. There was nothing that Mr. Sterling, that he saw that day, that he did, nor in the 6 years he was at Mr. Abdullah's store location selling CDs that had ever been done of any violence from Mr. Sterling.
And I understand that Mr. Sterling, the relationship he had with the store owner was such that he would store his table in the proprietor's place.
They were friends. In fact, Mr. Abdullah is a great example. He came here from Michigan 6 years ago and started this store in the black area, as I said. And he's friends. I was there about 30 minutes yesterday interviewing him, maybe an hour, interviewing him, talking to people, because there are still people around in this store location. As you know, we are having protests. I also went down to the East Baton Rouge Parish Prison yesterday and interviewed people down there. I interviewed a bail bondsman. We have 300 people who are protesters who have been arrested. And there's a national organization. The fee to get them out is about $250 for these people. A lot of people are from out of state that are here, called protesters. They have stood in front of freeways and in front of streets where cars can't pass. And of course, we know that is an illegal protest. Mm-hmm. So we have 300 people in jail in Baton Rouge right now. I will be taping other people. I'm doing a series on this as this proceeds on and to see what happens. And so if there's a need for you to bring someone else on, I can give you further information later what's going on. But those two people I did physically interview yesterday, and other people. I interviewed the bail bondman. I interviewed people from Houston who were here from the it's called the People's New Black Panther Party. I did talk to a person from the old Black Panthers Party also. So I'm trying to get the real perspective, the backstory also, what's going on with Mr. Alton Sterling's case. It has been turned over to the Department of Justice. And Colonel Edmondson, who is our state police, I think is heading the case, not, from what I can determine, not Chief Davity, who is our chief of police, because these two, and they were white officers, did work for Chief Davity. So we're still waiting on an answer, and that is part of the big dilemma with this protest, is there are no answers. In Minnesota, the governor, the day after he saw the tape from Miss Dianne Reynolds, who was in the car with her 4-year-old daughter with Mr. Castile, came out and said that if Mr. Castile had been a white man, he would be still alive. The governor of Minnesota said that.
Let me ask you this. Let me just ask you this, because we're running out of time. But your program, you had a program that talked about, in what is it, black, white, and blue?
I do a series called Do Black, White, and Blue Lives Matter.
And tell us, why do you think it's important for you to do such a program?
Because I give the true statistics on what's really going on in America. Last year, approximately 1,100 people were shot by 600,000 policemen we have in the country of Louisiana, of America. And we're 320 million plus people. They shot 258 black men, over 500 white men. More white men were shot. The media depicted it's only us. Don't get me wrong. One death is one death too much. I did Tamar Rice. He was gunned down. I did Eric Garner. He was killed. Baltimore 6 I did. But Baltimore 6 was also 3 black people, not just white people, as you know very well on the East Coast.
Yes.
I think it's good to get the perspectives, but we need to know the facts. And Gloria, one thing I say in my show, black lives must matter first to black people. We must do something ourselves, because Chicago last year killed 1,000 black boys by the hands of black people. We have to do something to help ourselves. Don't get me wrong, that doesn't negate what these people are doing in the police force.
Yes.
But we need a parallel system going on here. We don't just come out and talk when black people are shot by a white man. What about in Chicago when some little girl is sitting on the step and she's shot by them having a gang violence shooting? We need to address both parts of this big story that is going on. But more 8,000 black, as I say, black youth and men were killed last year in the country of America.
All right, Dianne Andrews, the program is in black and white. It's a talk show, and of course you can tell how busy she is, and she's trying to cover all the bases. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you. Watch me on YouTube, Dianne Andrews in black and white.
All right, take care.